Good morning, dear students. In the last class, we discussed the lesson A Talk on Advertising by Herman Hoek. The author criticizes the advertising business and he slams that business by calling it a facade. It is a deceitful or a cheating business. According to the author, the advertising business has idleness. So, today we are going to see why does the author criticizes the advertising business as a cheating or as a facade. He gives certain examples how other professions or other jobs are far better or are worthy in getting a food or in getting a money in a true sense, whereas this advertising business or advertising job is utterly not good or utterly very bad. So in the last para, he said he asked questions to the people who work in a advertising business. He asked the question that how do you eat, which mean on what basis you are having or you are getting your food, just because you have money? No. So, to make it clear, he gives some examples. Let us continue today. A shoemaker gives shoes for his bread. Well, a singer sings for her supper. Well, a capitalist leads a large enterprise. See, here he gives other professions, why these people have more respect or they are worthy in a true way in getting or in having their food. A shoemaker gives shoes for his bread. That means a shoemaker makes shoes to get his bread or get his food or money or for his livelihood. Well, a singer sings for a supper. Supper, the food we are having in the evening or a late evening. So, whereas a shoemaker makes shoes for his daily basis or daily basic needs, as the same way, a singer also sings for her supper or for her livelihood. A capitalist leads a large enterprise. Here also capitalist is a wasahatshai or a businessman. Not a wasahatshai, sorry. A capitalist means bandawala the person who invests a money and creates a large enterprise or a business firm. So, a capitalist also leads a large enterprise or a large, bigger business firm. A pilot flies the aeroplanes or helicopters. A pilot does his job. A coal miner digs. Coal miner means the person who works in a coal mining field. ಗಣಿಗಾರಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅಗೆಯುವ ಕೆಲಸ, coal miner digs. A sailor moves things. A sailor navika. A sailor moves yacht or a boat or ships. He moves things. A minister preaches. Minister means not politician. A minister means a religious preacher. He preaches in the church, in the temple, in the mosque, wherever. A minister, a religious preacher, he preaches sermons, preaches religious talk. An author tells stories. A laundryman, washer, washing clothes. A laundryman washes the clothes. An auto worker makes cars. Automobile worker, he makes cars. A painter makes picture. A painter paints the pictures. A streetcar conductor moves people. Conductor, bus conductor, what does he do? He moves people from backside to front side, or takes them to one place to another place, helps them to get down, get into the bus, isn't it? So a stenographer writes down words. Stenographer, earlier, now we have now we say that secretary. So a stenographer means a person who works as a secretary, and when her or his boss dictates the detail, she writes in a short forms, and later she goes back to her place and types in a full sentences. So stenographer does her work. A lumberjack saws. A lumberjack means a person who works in cutting trees. A person who cuts trees for a living. Lumberjack marakadivova. He saws. A tailor sews. A tailor sews. What does a tailor do? He stitches the clothes. So here the author Herman Wouk, he speaks about the different professions which can be said that they are true. They are worthy to have their food or their livelihood, because they work for their life, for their family, for themselves. There is a reason, there is a clear, obvious reason what they are doing. But the advertising people, what do? The people with the victuals appreciate these services and cheerfully feed the performers. But what does an advertising man do? See, the people with the victuals, provision stores, we say general stores, where we are getting food items or groceries or other essential basic food, basic stuffs or basic things. Victuals means provision stores, general stores or grocery shops. So the people who works in these victuals or in these provisional stores appreciate these services, means appreciates these people's services, like ministers, authors and sailor or teacher, stenographer, conductor, whoever works, they saw, and the people who works in these provisional stores or grocery stores, they appreciate their services and cheerfully feed the performers. Means they happily give whatever they want, whatever these people wants. Not free, but for the money. But they appreciate. They know. The people who works in the provisional stores, they know this person works as a singer. But here, Herman Wouk questions, but what does an advertising man do? He answers here. He induces human beings to want things they don't want. See, here, Herman Wouk, he criticizes. He He has irony in his speech. Irony, vyangya. He has ironical elements in this speech. He clearly points out the defects of the advertising business. He induces human beings to want things they don't want. See what an advertising man do. He induces, creates that want. He creates that desire. Who? An advertising man creates that desires into the human beings which actually they don't want. Isn't it? That's what the advertisement does. It makes us appealing. It makes us to appeal those things which actually we don't want. Now I will be deeply obliged if you will tell me by what links of logic anybody can be convinced that your activity, the creation of where want does not exist, is a useful one and should be rewarded with food. So, now he asks that I will deeply oblige, I will be grateful if you tell me by what links of logic anybody can be convinced that your activity is a useful one. So, if you tell me what is the point that you should have food? What's your work that you are worth to have your food? So if you tell me the answer, I'll be very grateful. He says, the creation of what is their work? The advertisement's main work is the creation of where want does not exist. Actually, in general, if you take yourself as an example, see, many times you actually don't need, or any person, many things you don't need, but those advertise are so appealing, so fascinating, so capturing that you feel that you can't live without that thing. It may be the food items, it may be the beautification items, the beauty, the items, the products related to the beauty or body or cleanliness, or products related to the cleanliness, a product related to the automobile factory or electronic gadgets, whatever you feel like, a clothes, whatever clothes. But many times you don't need, or one don't need at all, but these advertisements create a want which does not exist. So here Herman Wouk asked the question to the advertising people, how do they get their food? What is their work? What is their work? What is their work that they can proudly say that I am working this, and because of that I am having my food, or I am earning? Doesn't it seem rather the worst sort of mischief, deserving to be starved into extinction? So,